no respite inside for Delhiites from the floods. Now, the Yamuna continues to overflow in the city and it's flooding key areas in Delhi. Politics, however, has begun in the capital over the floods. The Aam Aadmi Party has blamed unprecedented circumstances for floods along with the BJP-run Haryana government for releasing waters through its barrages into Delhi. Now, the Delhi LG, Vinay Saxena, however, has slammed the government over its inaction to prevent the flooding situation in the capital. The BJP, on the other hand, has slammed the Aam Aadmi Party and alleged that AAP is conducting politics in the name of floods. Now, my colleague Yash Goyal has sent us this ground report from Rajghat. Take a look.
Well, the roads of national capital are still flooded, and in fact, after yesterday's incident from Mukundpur, in fact, I can tell you that police has taken no lesson from it. In fact, you can see small kids are still here in water, and in fact, police officials are just sitting there, not doing their job of letting these kids out, because yesterday those were the kids. In fact, the kids drowned in water in Mukundpur area. They were 12 to 15 years old, and in fact, you can see these kids still in water. In fact, we'll try to speak, get in a word from these police officials. नहीं, अब आप क्यों कर रहे हैं ये? कल 3 बच्चे मरे हैं मुकुंदपुर में. आप अभी भी इन बच्चों को कैसे यहाँ पे करने दे रहे हैं? चलो इधर हो जा बेटा. नहीं, अब आप क्यों निकाल रहे हो इनको बाहर? मेरे को एक बात समझाइए. अगर मीडिया आके कुछ करेगा तभी आप काम करेंगे अपना. सर, मेरे को एक बात समझाइए. मीडिया के काम करेगा तभी करेंगे क्या अपना? लाइव जा रहा है अभी ये इस समय. बेटे बाहर निकल. नहीं, आपके बीट ऑफिसर कहाँ है? आपका थाना कौन सा लगता है यहाँ पे? आप देखिए, छोटे बच्चे हैं और आप निकाल नहीं रहे हैं यहाँ पे बाहर. कैसे चलेगा सर ये काम? आप देखिए, कल 3 बच्चे. See how the police acted once we tried to confront them. In fact, there are other police officials as well now who are taking their back. You can see in those visuals how these police officers are actually running away, how they are not doing their duty in the national capital. 3 innocent lives were lost yesterday, and today these police officers are just sitting idle on their seats, not doing their job properly. And सर, कहाँ जा रहे हैं आप? आइए ना एक सेकेंड. आप यहाँ पे अभी बैठे थे, बच्चों को बाहर निकाल नहीं रहे हैं आप. कल 3 बच्चे मरे हैं दिल्ली में. So this is the situation here in the national capital, how police officials have nothing to do. They are just sitting idle on their chairs. You just saw how the kids were actually sitting in the water. These are small kids, in fact 2 to 3 year old kids who were sitting there in water. This gentleman, this police officer was just sitting idle when we started covering it, and when we started recording, then only he came on the street to actually remove these kids from here. This is Yash Goyal with video journalist Ravi Ranjan for CNN News 18. ITO remains to be worst affected after the rains in the national capital. You can see all around me is just water, and this is the ITO area which is completely inundated in water. And in fact, yesterday was the time when actually water reached the streets of ITO, and in fact you can see how the traffic has been hit, and in fact how people are actually struggling to commute from this very point. And in fact, this is not the Yamuna water, but this is the sewage water and the dirty water. And in fact, I can tell you one thing, standing here, this water stinks really bad. And in fact, this is something which has created a lot of issues for the people of the national capital. Yes, there was a failure of drainage system, and in fact there was a failure of regulator in nearby areas, and in fact army was also called in to fix those things, but still the water remains stagnant over here at this very point at the ITO. Everyone has to say only one thing, is that why this situation has arisen here in the national capital. And in fact you can see that gentleman over here, and you can imagine the level of waters which have come to this very place. And in fact, till the point you can see at very space there's only water all around me. And in fact this is not something very pleasant, because this is not fresh water, or this is not the Yamuna water we are talking about. This is the sewage water, because Yamuna is still flowing above the danger mark. And in fact now the sewage system and the drainage systems are actually backing here in the national capital. And in fact you can see on the other side as well how the waters have gone inside these very offices which are located at ITO. So the situation remains grim. The situation is very bad, and in fact there are people who are commuting, and in fact they are facing a problem on the day-to-day basis, because ITO is also one such juncture which actually connects many important spaces of the national capital. In fact, when we come from the other side of the road, it connects it to the central Delhi, and in fact if we go from the central Delhi area, it connects to the Lakshmi Nagar area. In fact, you have a way to Noida from this very side. So this is a very important juncture, and in fact you can see on that side as well, the entire area has been barricaded by the police. So you can go from that side, but you cannot enter this lane, because after this there is the Rainy Well Bridge, which is also being closed for the traffic as of now, because water levels are high there as well. In fact, talking about the water levels now, the Yamuna water levels have started to recede, in fact, and in fact in the wee hours, what we are given to understand, the water level somewhere stands around 207.62 meters, which is actually a slight relief for the people of the national capital. You can see how these people are actually forced to leave their homes, and in fact how they are actually how inconvenience is being caused to those all these people who you can see in your screens.